Oh, right. So, if you're watching this right now, it's probably because you're interested in playing Death Shadow. So, I met this guy on Reddit. I saw him post that he had got to Mythic. I think it was 2 seasons ago with Death Shadow. This was before Streets of Nuke and Penna. And I was like, man, that's so cool. Someone got to Mythic with Death Shadow and Historic, and they did it with Scourge of the Skyclaves, a card that I really like. And so I decided to hit him up, and because we're just from completely different parts of the world, he's from Spain, I'm from Canada, it was hard to actually organize time to get chatting, but here we are. So if you are watching this video and you want to get straight into how to play the deck, then skip ahead because there's a little introduction between the two of us. But I thought I would just leave it kind of raw. I think we talked about some interesting things, so I thought I would just leave that conversation in there. Anyway, skip ahead. The link should be below. And yeah, this is Bal, and this is his iteration of Death Shadow. This is his build, and you'll see me playing it at the end after our conversation. So, hope you like it. Thanks. Cheers. Yeah. Where are you from? You sound like you're from Holland or something?
No, I'm actually from Peru, currently living in Spain.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I do my PhD here, but well, I'm a pretty enthusiastic gamer, and I've been playing Magic since quite a long time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your PhD in?
Spanish literature, actually.
Cool.
I love theater. I love plays from the 16th to 18th century. It might sound pretty boring, but I learn a lot, and when I have some spare time, I just like to hit some games. Actually, Arena brought me back to Magic after many years of not playing in paper.
Right.
So I'm happy to share decks. I'm happy to try new stuff.
So do you think that's what did you get into paper Magic after you started playing Arena again? Like, do you go to FNMs or do any drafts or anything?
I never went back to paper Magic. I've been too busy with my academic career. Also, whenever I wanted to make an investment, like an awesome modern deck, I would think, yeah, but I mean, money and your different ban list.
Yeah,
I think I'm just comfortable with hitting Arena when I've got time, and sometimes Magic Online when I see maybe a cool cube event or anything. But no, never went back to paper. I would like someday though. I mean, the game is becoming more and more expensive, like crazy expensive every year.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy how modern has become, like a rotating format. Like, I was looking at I was kind of dabbling with the idea of getting a modern deck as well, just before the release of Modern Horizons 2. And I was looking at two lists. I was looking at Death Shadow because I think Death Shadow is cool and sort of holds its ground through time, or at least it did. And then I was also looking at like the red blue prowess list.
Yeah, prowess list. Yeah, they're pretty solid. But then Modern Horizons 2 came, and with all these incarnations and so on, it just
and the free, like, they're basically free spells.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. It's like, and now you have like this non-rotating format, modern, but the budget is way higher, and just the Modern Horizon sets just completely shake the metagame, and it's almost like a rotation. So decks drop from the top, and well, now you have the Lurus ban, which has I'm not really aware if Death Shadow has held up high after the Lurus ban. I suppose it hasn't.
I think it knocked it down at least to like a 1.5. Yeah.
I mean, Lurus was like this crazy engine payoff. I actually the list I created for the historic format was inspired by the modern list. I tested some slots because obviously there were cards that I couldn't play the stupid Ragnar and Monkey, and I couldn't play the Dress Down enchantment. So I decided, hey, maybe let's give it a shot with this Courage of the Skyclaves and maybe any new saga that comes with Kamigawa, and I think it's cool, very cool. Well, whenever you want to talk about the deck or whatever, just
Yeah, so I guess why don't I introduce you and this what we're doing here, since I'm recording right now.
all right. Well,
you don't mind, right? You don't mind if I record?
I do not at all.
I thought it'd be cool for you to get a little introduction into the deck, because I'm gonna play it out after, and just like, I mean, I won't play it as good as you, obviously, but I'm gonna try and play it out. And
yeah, you're very welcome. I'm going to say, well, my username is Bal. I've been playing this Grixis Dead Shadows iteration the last 2 seasons. I think I polished the list in February, and then in March, April, and May I've been playing it, and I really like the 3-color identity, and I really like the idea of using all the resources available to power up a Death Shadow deck, and with the Scourge of the Skyclaves there in the back. I've been seeing like tiny bits of Death Shadow's presence along the historic ladder, and they never convinced me. They weren't solid enough. They were just all in on life loss, paying life, but that game club was easily shaken. So I thought, well, maybe we need a solid way to make a Dead Shadow deck competitive and consistent. And the modern list was a huge inspiration because it took advantage of great pieces of flexible removal or flexible creatures. In the case of removal, for example, drawing the lock is a fundamental card for this deck to work, and I will explain that a little bit later when I mention about the Rakdos iteration I tried that didn't work because it didn't include the blue color. Also, Dragon's Rage Channeler and Holy Heathen, 2 cards that have been staples in almost every red deck, really put the deck in a position that it can have evasive damage and very solid removal. So it's not, I mean, when I think about the deck, it's not all in Death Shadow, but it has the right engines to make Death Shadow work, and finally pull it through and make it very consistent.
Yeah, so I dabbled with the last build quite a bit. I never like, I wasn't really grinding, but I was playing it for my daily rewards and whatnot. And one thing I noticed is I found Kumano really helpful with the second saga trigger, because you could get the Scourge online really early.
Exactly. Kumano is probably my favorite saga from Kamigawa because it's on the surface very simple, but it's such huge value for 1 mana. You get this initial ping, then you can make something bigger like a Channeler, or you can get your Scourge of the Skyclave ready in turn 2. And finally you get this relevant 2/2 that can attack with haste, and that has this static ability that exiles things with damage, and that's not relevant versus lots of, for example, Golgari Food or other Lurus's decks, even the top deck in the historic format, which is Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah.
It really helps you pull through. So Kumano it's been very surprising to see it work, and I'm happy to include a full set of them in the deck list.
Yeah, I found this build performed pretty well against both Food and Phoenix, just because of all the Grave Hate and then also the Thoughtseize and Inquisitions. Like I would just target their like Witch's Oven and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
just to get those out of hand, and because that's like the biggest issue in that deck, right?
Absolutely. You also got the Colligan's command for extra artifact hate, and
You
just
had it. You had it in the main board before, didn't you? The Colligan's command.
I did, yes. I think I had a couple of them before I published this list. I think it was flexible enough versus many decks, and also because there was I think, a larger presence of the affinity artifact deck and other decks that maybe perhaps grew that wanted to throw in a creature and then an early Ember Clip. However, then it didn't convince me because I'm now more into focusing the 2 mana plays and the 2 mana spells. So Colligans, I think it's the right place is the sideboard, and I'm trying to focus more on an early gameplay that can get that can set up the early drops with more consistency. Also, for example, I found that some matchups will make Colligan's Command not a dead card. It's never a dead card, but a very inefficient spell to hold mana up. For example, if you had this stompy green creatures, you cannot kill them with 2 damage. This card is irrelevant, and when you want to get something out of your graveyard, Colligan is just too late, comes too late to the party. So I think it's fine in the sideboard.
Yeah, I actually found that too. I didn't find it was a dead card, but I just found it was sort of redundant a lot of the times. Like
Right.
a lot of the stuff you had in your build was doing sort of what it did. And then on top of that, like, because you had the, what do you call it? The abrades before as well. I noticed you took those out of the sideboard.
Yes, I was very convinced for the same reason, right? That the braid was an important card to have because but it's a great red instant. You have 3 damage, which is solid, and then you can kill an artifact if you need it. And this was a time where both the affinity and the aura decks were more prominent, and having instant removal was, from my perspective, more important. But then I realized it was dead against other matchups. For example, it was an absolute dead card versus control. So I realized these 2 slots I could use. Well, maybe I can throw another Colligan's command, no? Which is still more flexible, and I'm not seeing so many affinity decks, and when I do, I can pair it up with maybe a Mystical Dispute to counter those Thought Monitors, and 4 copies of Colligan's command to have maximum flexibility. So Abrade, I think it's a great card. I think it's still solid. It performs well, but I think it lost its place against certain matchups.
Well, I guess if Colligan's command kind of fulfills that role too, it's good. Just to replace it. However, no, I was gonna say like Rakdos Arcanist decks. Might be good to have the abrade, but then you still have the fatal pushes and you still have the drown and the locks. So.
Right. Yes, and actually, now that you mention Rakdos, I was testing a Rakdos version of Death Shadow now with the introduction of Obnixilis, the new Planeswalker.
Oh, it's so crazy, yeah.
It is crazy. It is ridiculous when you get to copy. For this build, I was thinking, here is a niche win condition where you get a huge Death Shadow, and then you use the casualty ability to get a huge Obnixilis with huge loyalty, and then you use the ultimate to make your opponent draw 7 cards and lose 7 life. And in mid to late game, that initially, I thought it could work very well, and it could be consistent. But then I realized that blue is important to make a Death Shadow deck work, because you really need those. First, you need to have the mana base, the 12 shocklands.
Yeah.
If you run Rakdos, you can only run 4 shocklands, and then you can throw in some deserts and anything, but it's not as consistent as the 12 shocklands. Then I mean, the Obnix list is nice. I also included a full set of Seasoned Pyromancer because it's a great card, straight from the modern format.
Yeah.
But then I realized that blue has the 12 shocklands available. You got to draw in the lock, which is fundamental. Then you have expressive iteration, which has to be, I'm more convinced of this with the passing of time. It has to be the most insane draw engine card selection card in the entire format. So
the expressive iterations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never cut them. I mean, I think I only cut them when it's a super high aggressive matchup, and I never. It just, you lose so much consistency when you cut this card that it's worth to run blue just to get an expressive iteration as part of your deck.
Actually, I guess this is a good lead into like so when you're so last season you made it to Mythic with this deck, which is what drew me to your posts in the first place, right? Yes. Basically, I found Bal on Reddit because he posted this deck list and said he had made it to Mythic with a Death Shadow deck. I thought that was really cool because I've been looking for a Death Shadow deck. Like, it's been introduced to the to Historic for a while now, and no one had really been running a deck that seemed like it was viable. And so I guess what I want to ask you is, in that meta, like in the top tier Diamond, Mythic,
yes.
What were your matchups? What were your favorable matchups, and what were your least favorable matchups?
Great question. Let's start with the least favorite or the worst matchups. Control, for example. I think Azorius Control, which has taken over Jeskai Control, is the worst and most difficult matchup to deal with. They have so much removal, and they have such flexibility. They don't have a problem throwing, for example, a Resting Peace on turn 2, and then you feel, damn, now all my Dragon Ray Channelers, all my Unholy Heats, my Lurus is dead, my Drawn in the Lock is almost useless. So Azorius Control is the worst matchup in my opinion. Then again,
but more the Jeskai version than the white-blue version?
No, the white-blue Azorius is worst. I'm not seeing back on the Mythic tier and lately in Platinum Diamond, haven't seen a lot of the Jeskai version. I think cards like, for example, this White X Kamigawa removal spell that can exile things with such flexibility that they don't need to run red for the Lighting Helix.
Oh yeah, what's that one called again? The 1X spell?
Yeah, let me find it. It's Light. I really hate that card. March of Otherworldly Light. I really hate it because it's like this card, and also the Wandering Emperor, Flash Planeswalker that can get rid of any attacking creature.
Oh, you're talking about the March of Otherworldly Light.
Yeah, it's the March of Otherworldly Light. Yeah.
And the Wandering Emperor. Yeah.
I mean, two pieces that have made the Source build so consistent, so prepared for everything. So yeah, that is the worst matchup. And also they throw in the Portable Holes and the Resting Peace. So that would be a very bad matchup. It's not impossible though. You can sideboard in extra discard spells, extra counter spells, and you just get ready for a long game or a very short game versus Control, where you can get your advantage early, or a very long game where you can try to grind that win with your man lands or with your responses to the very well-known threats.
I did find it very satisfying to counter like super control-y decks with mystical disputes.
Yeah, those two copies are they may seem irrelevant, but they are actually pretty good versus control decks, and also versus some other decks that maybe want to combo in. I don't know. You can see an emergent ultimatum. Well, you got it ready. Or maybe another deck that we haven't mentioned is the Niv Mizzet decks.
Mm.
You can throw in those couple of mystical disputes and counter that Niv Mizzet for just 1 mana, which feels amazing.
Oh yeah, totally. So what did you normally sideboard out when you would like if you were to take out some cards? Was it usually Kamano that you would take out? Because I found myself sideboarding Kamano out of the
versus control.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus control, I take out Kumano on Scourge of the Skyclaves, and I go all in. Discard spells like the Imposition of Kozilek. I get those mystical disputes in. I maybe throw in a Soul Guide Lantern in case I need to exile the Memory Deluges or any other flashback spell. Also, I throw in some Colladon's Command because of the extra discard and the ability to pressure Planeswalkers.
That makes sense.
Throwing portable holds. But it's still a very tough matchup. I would say the greatest offender versus the greatest challenge deck is the Rest in Peace enchantment.
Yeah, because there's no way to remove that, right? Other than just like Inquisition or Thoughtseize.
Yeah, I mean, some Reddit users suggested that I could run Feed the Swarm, this 1 black sorcery that can destroy both creatures and enchantments, and then you lose life equal to the mana value. It might make sense, I mean, when you think about it, but once they drop the Rest in Peace, they get this immediate advantage. I mean, they could draw and drop it on mid-game, and you still lose your graveyard, and you still lose your thing. So it's already too late to remove it. So the most efficient way of dealing with a Rest in Peace or a Soul Guide Lantern, which is a very common sideboard card for almost any deck, any competitive deck.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
It's the discard spell, the discard spell.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because also like you want to get as much of that early damage in with Dragon's Rage Channeler in. So if someone drops like Rest in Peace, then you can't get that 3 damage.
Yes, and you cannot get to 6 damage with your holy hits, and basically your Drawn in the Log turns into this
dead spell.
Dead spell that can only deal with perhaps mana lands or creature tokens, but that's it. It's a very narrow use of one of your most important spells. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
You never want to see a Rest in Peace, actually.
Yeah. That's avoid Rest in Peace at all costs.
Yeah, exactly. There's and other matchups. I mean. So
what are your sort of middle tier matchups?
Yeah, I would say any creature aggressive. Creature-based aggressive deck is pretty easy to handle because you have these efficient pieces of removal, and if you open a Dead Shadow in your hand, you just let them get through, then drop it, make sure you hit your land drops, make sure you get the card advantage they don't have. So any Brawly, maybe Gruul or Green Stompy, even Red Burn can be easily handled with this deck.
Yeah, Burn, probably elves too, and like goblins.
Yes, exactly. Goblins you only need to take to make sure they don't drop Moxes, because then they go way too wide and you cannot contain that. Maybe the only problem that this deck can have versus creature-based decks is when they go too wide, so you don't get your efficient blocking, but that usually doesn't happen. There is no apart from maybe elves, which I haven't seen a lot lately.
No,
There
not
are
so
not
much.
many strategies that go wide and then hit hard. Maybe Merfolk, but Merfolk is, I mean, it's still a mid-tier deck. It could steal you some games, but it's easily handled by removal and the right pieces.
Yeah, similar to elves, right?
Sideboard, yeah.
There is that combo deck which can be a little bit annoying when they get off the like scurry oak, what is it, Heliod deck?
Yeah. The Celestia Collected Company live game decks. They try to drop. It's a three-piece combo, right? They need a Heliod, they need the Scurry Oak, and they need a ETB live game payoff. Could be so.
Yeah. I just instant conceded as soon as I see the combo.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, GG's.
I mean, yeah, there is. I mean that combo you can survive because they can attack instantly if you got a board wipe, but this is not the deck that runs a board wipe. So yeah, I concede, and against that deck, well, you can stop a combo if you remove one of the pieces. You can make sure you thoughtseize those collected companies, and of course, when you cycle against them, you take Scourge of the Skycliffs or anything that is not capable to pull through all that ridiculous live game. Well,
I always find it catches me off guard for some reason. That deck. I'm like, oh yeah, this deck. I haven't seen this in a while. All right, I'll scoop.
It happens. It's very annoying, but luckily it's not such a popular deck.
Yeah, it's not too powerful. Because it can be stopped. That's the thing, right? The 3-card combo.
And the 3-card combos are still not a great thing, like not a widespread thing. People are not going so hard for them. So yeah. Another deck that can get you into trouble now that we're talking about Celestia is Celestia Humans. It's actually another historic deck that I really enjoy playing.
Yeah, I actually have a build as well.
Yeah, because they can tax your card banter spells. They can get this ridiculous curve where they get an Esper Sentinel, Thalia, and then they pump the board, and you just feel like I can't do much about this. But even those decks can be handled with efficient removal. I still think that a Saurus control is the toughest matchup, and then you've got those other tier 1 decks like Golgari Food, or maybe just Sacrifice some sort of, or the Phoenix deck that if you can't hit the Graveyard Hate, they can really surprise you and get 4 Phoenixes on very early. So
I have a version of the Selesnya deck that has Nullhide Ferox in it, and someone targeted it with Thoughtseize. I was actually I was doing the event, traditional historic event. Someone had targeted it and it just hit the battlefield, and they were like, "Oh, okay, concede."
Okay, alright, yeah, it happens. Yeah, actually, there is something I would like to mention as well, is that there is a surprise factor when you play this Death Shadow deck, because it's not so in the meta. For example, aggressive decks won't think twice before attacking you, and then you are in that sweet spot, maybe 7 life, 6 life, when you can drop your Death Shadows as 7/7s, and then you swing, you get them down, and then you drop your Scourge of the Skycliffs, and then combat is just all in your favor. I think there are universal pieces of hate, like Graveyard Hate, Critter Hate, but in general, most decks are not expecting this game plan where you can get your life pretty low, that you're comfortable taking lots of damage very early, and then you just drop your pieces into on the board and can take over the game. So I think a good factor about Dead Shadow is that it's not that widespread in the meta, so it'd be a surprise for certain matchups.
So that probably gives you that's like an advantage, right? If you can take game one, then they're not really expecting what to do for game two.
Exactly, and maybe they don't have the right pieces of sideboard. I've had lots of matches where I would just develop my game plan in a very surprising way, and their strategy was unchanged for game 2 or game 3. So, and I think the sideboard of this deck is pretty solid, pretty prepared to deal with most things.
So what's your number one easiest matchup? or maybe not the easiest, but one that you're looking forward to playing against?
For example, Gruul Aggron or Redburn. I think they just accelerate my game plan. I know how to play them against them very carefully. I just hit my Dead Shadows, and they just stop and say, "Hey, wait a minute. This was how do I get through this line of huge 1 mana blockers, right?" Another matchup that I think, well, this is any combo deck, any maybe self mill deck. For example, so this is a deck that has been played most in best of 1, but you can see it sometimes in best of 3. The Greasefang Parthelion reanimation deck, where you get the Parthelion in your graveyard and then play the Greasefang to get this huge vehicle and swing for the win.
Yeah, I have a build as well for that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty surprising. It's pretty spicy when it works, but
it's inconsistent though.
Yeah, as soon as you drop your Soul Guide Lantern and you get your Kolaghan's Command, or even you just get a Drawn in the Lock, you can control them pretty easily. I think it's a deck that's best for best of 1.
Yeah, because it's the same thing. It's the surprise element with that deck. Because if you lose game 1, your chances of going 2 wins in a row are pretty low, I found, with that deck.
Exactly.
So
unless your opponent gets really unlucky, yeah.
All right, well, I think that just about sums up the deck here. We end up going into his old variation and address like the changes that he made, but I just don't think it's necessary for this video here. I hope this was helpful. I know the audio wasn't 100% clear. I tried to adjust his volume where I could and make things as cohesive as possible. But I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into Death Shadow and Historic, and I'm sure me and him will be in touch and trying to make more content like this in the future. So enjoy the video. Cheers. And so we're gonna do some Q. Normally I used to like to make these videos with like the events, but they're like really pricey now. So now I'm just gonna do like 5 games, kind of like a league in MTGO. I'll just do 5 games in the ladder, and let's see what we can do with Death Shadow. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Going up against the Plat. Got some Xander's Lounges. Guess it's fine. It's a little slow. Interesting. Mirror match, maybe? Let's find out. think that's the correct card to put away. Sure, so I'm assuming this is some sort of like Grixis control.
Keep an open mind.
Okay. Like I said, Grixis control seems likely. Let's just go ahead and hit this Narset now. See what we can get in the grave. Don't want to toss that just yet. We'll use that.
I won't forget our time together.
And let's hit our expressive iteration. Put one into your hand. One to your library. Exile this. Gain 2. We're gonna cycle for 0. Okay. So we got the counter. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. Losing a fair bit of life, but I think that's okay. Maybe we just go ahead and counter this too. And I guess we'll just get rid of a charm. Seems fine. Hey, what's up? Alright, so let's take the push. The catacombs. And I guess we just bring the Lurus into our hand. Nice, okay. Why do we lose 3? I guess if we, I just kept getting the stacks. That's interesting. Okay. Let's take their Fear Hulk, and we're super low on life. We are at 1 life. Interesting. Alright. We did not deserve to win that one, but we did. Alright, let's get into some mystical disputes. Oh, they're just gonna go ahead and concede. Alright, well that's an easy first round, I guess. We haven't been playing a lot of constructed, just mainly just the dailies, but then also limited. Mostly has been on our agenda. Limited, recording, editing, limited. But I really do like constructed. I feel like competitive constructed is like the heart of MTG. So content must be made. Content must be made. And just a FYI, the guy that built this deck got to Mythic with it. I think right now he's just top, somewhere in Diamond, middle tier, top tier Diamond, but he's just fighting his way to the Mythic level. So, guess my point is that it is viable. It does have legs. I guess that guy was just super salty. Which, you know, he had 1 life, so maybe I understand. Alright, mulligan. Seems fine. Probably just bottom. I guess a painful bond is fine. I was gonna say a land, but this way we have all our colors. Alright, looks like we have some sort of aggro red deck, probably just mono red. I think we talked to Bal about this, and he was saying that, or suggesting that this deck's quite good against the mono red. So see if that is true. I think we'll just hit the I guess the push is fine. Maybe the Arcanist, another Arcanist is more problematic. What does this thing do? Just comment down Axel random. Huh. Just get rid of that. I guess Shadow's fine. It helps unlock our Delirium here with Unholy Heat. Okay. Beautiful. Now we can just hit the Arcanist. Obviously they can push, but I think that's okay. Nice. Surprising if they didn't take the Lurith. They can Culligan's command us, but we don't really have a choice. Oh, nice. Okay. These go blank. Sure. It's too bad we didn't get a land earlier. We could have taken the damage. Would have been good for us. I think we just keep trying to like knock damage off for whatever we draw. So I guess they're not just not getting the lands they need. There you go. Come on. There is a limit to the amount of damage I want to take. Oh yeah.
After
Bob Nixie.
1,000 years, finally, go sow some chaos. Conquest.
Well, I think we're in a pretty bad place here.
By coin or carnage, tribute is owed.
Yeah. We'll call it there. I think we can scoop and go to the next. So what do we need to do? We need to... Well, Kozilek brings... It's good for both of those. And push is good against the Arcanist, so let's bring the pushes in. Probably bring in a couple lanterns too. I don't think Crocs is very good in this matchup because they have Grave Hate in main deck. I think some Commandos can probably go, and we can replace those with... Do they have any artifacts? No. I think we want a couple lanterns. Maybe we come down on one Unholy Heat. 2 lanterns. Come down on 1 Scourge for another one. Or, yeah, I think that seems okay. Okay, this hand's pretty good. I think we hit the Arcanist. Obviously they can push like one of our creatures, but right now that feels better because if they play the Arcanist they can do both. Boop. 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 Alright. Yeah, I was saying, if the Arcanist gets online, then they can push or Unholy Heat and then play it again, so it really makes more sense to not allow them to do that. One in your hand, one in your library, exile 1. Not far off from the kick across on Scourge. Might even just draw a card. I think we hit what we wanted to hit.
You and I are gonna take him out. Yup, you're going down.
Sure. So yeah, they're gonna push. I guess they can they can delirium and push, or they can Unholy Heat and push. Kind of sucks. I guess I have a lot of answers. Maybe we should have played this untapped. Yep. Sure. At least we can hit their Chandra. They activated Delirium for us. See what they got. And I think we'll just do the kicker, the Scourge kicker. Bring their life down a bunch next turn. Sure. What do they exile? I guess they're gonna hit a Shadow or a Scourge. So maybe we just play a Scourge. Okay, seems fine. So unless they have an answer, I think we just win here, right? Yeah. Pretty good. So the lanterns worked out pretty well. As did the Scourges. I don't think we make any changes. Seemed like that worked out pretty good. Alright, this hand's decent. Inquisition. The Inquisition or Inquisition. It's quite funny. That was not the right time to do that. I guess we just take the push, right? Yeah. Did that a little too hastily. At least we have Painful Bond. But with this deck, those little mistakes can be pretty detrimental. Sure. Push can hit the hive even. I like that. Chandra maybe? What is it? Oh. Not bad then, yeah. Add 2. They're gonna play Dreadhorde Canist. Okay, Rada. My turn. Use a life. Gain 2. Let's do this. I guess we'll just play a shadow. They could hit the shadow now, but I think it was the right time for it.
This'll be easy.
That helps us. I have a pyromancer. Sure. Actually, if we draw. Okay. Not liking the idea of this hive coming in at us.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Oh, they don't have haste. So let's go Thoughtseize. Hello? They just rage quit? I feel like we're not in the greatest position.
Nobody
Weird.
tells me what
Okay.
to do.
Hello? I guess they just raged. Weird. I mean, I guess we did turn the game around. But it's close. I mean, they still have Hive. Just Menace. Alright. 2 interesting wins. Got a couple rage quitters on us. Straight to gold tier 2. In what, 2 games, I guess? Not bad. Let's go to the next. Game 3. This hand seems fine. Painful Bond is so good for generating value in this deck. It's one of those alchemy cards that I'm like iffy about, as I am with all alchemy cards, but really has a lot of payoff for improving like black decks. Counter. It's fine. I think we'll just cycle. They're setting up for something big, right? All the unholy heats. Do we just like pummel them with unholy heats? They play a creature. Maybe that's the play. A little standoff here.
I'm known for my excellent timing. That was uncalled for. Stop that.
Take that,
You know what?
fairy.
I'm not done.
Alright, I guess we'll see if they have more counters.
I'll have a better plan next time.
I think we just wait for the Scourge, get a land. Sure. Okay. I didn't realize this was on cast too, so we just do the damage automatically. It's pretty good. Yep. He was saying, Val was saying that he thought this was one of the archetypes that were hard to play against. Specifically because of Rest in Peace, he was saying this card is really tough to fight. And I'm seeing that right now. It turns off like your Dragon Rage channelers, it turns off your ability to bring things back. I think we're gonna sideboard in. Colligan's Command. Alright. They got it. I used to play Control. I know how Control goes. They've got us in a tangle. So let's bring in, yeah, the Colligan's commands. Take out these. Take out Croxa. Don't need a soul. I don't think we need a Soul Guide Lantern. Necessarily. They could have like some flashback stuff, but bring in the disputes. Even Inquisitions could be good. I think we would take out like one Dragon Rage Channeler, one Unholy Heat. Seems fine. At 61, maybe we cut one Colgans. Alright. I like it. We had a bad hand last game too, and this is no better. This is also not great, but at least we have Painful Bond. So I guess we keep this one. Let's ditch a iteration. Realizing I should have played that main phase, but worked out okay. I think we just play this and hold up the counter. Worst case scenario, we can just cycle. That's fine. Let's play a land. I think we just Expressive Iteration anyway, even though we're kind of losing value. Okay, well, that's fine. There's a life. Expressive Iteration. Let's take the Inquisition. Land. And actually, I guess we just Inquisition now. They have nothing, just Teferi. Okay, that's good. So let's hold up the dispute for Teferi. Hope they don't get a Dovin's Veto. But we also have now Drown of the Lock. So that's solid. It's a good counter. Oh, we can't. Oh, shoot. Now we can't counter the fairy. Kind of sucks. I guess we should have just allowed it. Oops. That was a mistake for sure. The shadow. Three cards. Okay. What are they going to do? Bring Yorion into hand, maybe? Yep. Alright, I think we use Xander's Lounge. Goal against band is okay. Smash for 2. Oh, we can actually hit there to fairy too, which is good. Might have saved us.
I suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty good for them. They have 6 creatures, so we can destroy this. Actually, this is an instant. Why don't we wait? Move for 2. Yep. I think let's do it now. Return this one to our hand, and then target player discards a card. Yeek. Alright, let's go this. Lose a life. Oh, this is a clue token. Right.
I train every. I have just the trick for this.
Jovin's Veto. Big oops. Guess we just offer the trade. It's our best bet. And I think we'll just play the land rather than cycle it.
Put thoughtfulness before action.
It's funny. We've been struggling with what's the main thing that this deck is good at doing. Okay, well. I think that's basically game. Sick deck. Love control. Alright, that's it. Okay, game 3 is, well, pretty hard. Pretty much just a solid loss. All I can say about that. And let's go to game 4. I think we made some misplays, some poor decisions. Tough matchup to play against though, because you never really know what they're up to when they're playing control. Okay, nice hand. Let's lead with our Dragon Rage Channeler. Sure. Ah, they're a Phoenix deck. We know they're not going to trade. Unless they think we're also... No, we have Thoughtseize. We wouldn't be a Phoenix deck. Interested to see how this matches up against Phoenix, though. Sure. guess let's hit their iteration. Why do they have black? Here. Alright. Discard. Phoenix, yep. And those Thoughtseize. Oh, they have Ledger Shredder. Interesting. Huh. So Commandos can go. Let's get some Inquisitions, Mystical Disputes. And we want, I guess we want the Soul Guide Lanterns over the Unholy Heats, right? I guess Disputes aren't as important because it's on cast. So let's get, I guess some, wait, what are Ledger Shredders? 2? Yeah, Fatal Pushes. So, boom, boom. Yeah, seems good. All right. So I don't know why they're playing the white-black pathways, but I guess let's just play our channeler. Okay, they mulled. And let's go Steam Vents. And I think we just swing for 1. Maybe we counter something. We're not going to counter that. We will counter this, however. So let's Soul Guide Lantern. I think we'll keep that. Get their Phoenix. Swing for 1, and we'll play our Painful Bond on their end step. I'm just curious what the black is in their deck. Are they just playing cool lands for fun? Oh, nice. That's pretty good. There's a Chandra in this deck as well. This is new, some new meta stuff. I haven't seen much of this. Sure.
Feel the burn.
So let's go Dragon Race Channeler. Lose a life. Duration. Lose a life. Keep the shadow. One to your hand. Gee. Yeah, one into your library. And then we can play Thoughtseize. Hit their iteration. We must have stunted their ability a little bit. I mean, if they're just playing this land because it's cool, I respect that.
Yup, you're going
Two?
down.
Alright, hard cast. Nice. Okay. You gonna swing? I guess we want them to swing? We can hit their Chandra? Alright, so Inquisition, get rid of that. And we'll go at their Chandra. I don't think they can stop this trade. Oh wait, no, they can. They hit creature, an artifact. We have land sorcery. Yeah, I guess they did it. We can also do this. And let's play a shadow. And I think we will. I think we will play this land as well, tapped. What do they get there? Oh, this place is Symmetry Sage as well.
Gonna hurt.
Fuck. We just got a full board now. Gotta be a little bit intimidating. Yep. This is like what, a 4/4?
Oh, today's my lucky.
Apparently this card is like hard spiked in value. I can see why. It's
This'll be easy.
actually really good. It's so strong. Okay, so we win game 4. That deck seems cool. And let's go to 5. Waiting on your opponent. Waiting on your opponent. All right. Keep it. Keep it, keep it. Play Xander's Lounge. What is this, like real aggro? Is Gruul aggro still viable? But I want to know. This is what I would like to know. Is anybody home? Hello? Knock knock. Right? Gruul aggro, cool. I used to love this deck. This is the deck that I got to Mythic with. Actually. At one point I was Mythic in this format. For a very short period of time. Hmm. 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 I guess we take the beast. Hopefully they didn't get a land. Oh. Maybe beast was a mistake. But beast is good, has death touch. I guess they're only helping us if they damage us, right? Especially when we draw a shadow. Okay. Hello? Yes, make us stronger. Yes. Stronger. Yes. What do we do? One into our hand. One into our library. Okay, so we can still counter. We can't attack. This has haste. We need to counter it. I guess we could let them play it and then kill it. Right? They play it, swing both, kill it, block the real Spellbreaker. Yeah. Could even just kill it with Unholy Heat. Seems decent. Okay. It's the battlefield. Smash it. We actually can't let it attack. We can't let it attack, unfortunately. Has trample. Swing in. I don't know what kind of crazy shenanigans they're going to get up to, so I'm just going to destroy this now. I think that's probably fine. As long as, if they have another haster, if they have another hand crop crasher, we're in a bad spot. So we swing. Force the block. $16-16. Game. All right, so what's good against this deck? Definitely Inquisition, definitely Fatal Push. I think we cut. Just the Commandos. Easy cut. Easy cut. So, hand seems good. Yeah, this hand seems okay. But yeah, I guess if they're gonna play Land War, okay. Let's see what they got. You know, I was thinking about doing Thoughtseize, but I just figured they had like cheap creatures. Didn't we? Didn't, oh, it's only turn 2. Okay. Let me say, did we not play a land? Why don't we? All right, misplay. We should have played the Steam Vents. Silly. I guess we just hold a Painful Bond. Like we literally just gave the game away with these two, this play and that play. But it's 1:30, so so sometimes that's just how it is. Boom, boom. Let's go that. Painful Bond. Kind of a bad hand. A Death Shadow draw would be great right now. That is like worst case Ontario for us. Okay. Kind of messed that one up. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Let's be honest. But, yeah. They are playing aggro. It's not like we're playing aggro. We're playing like an aggressive mid-range deck, you know? I guess we want to keep a hand with like pushes, unholy heats. We just need ways to deal with their fast creatures. This is fine. Oh no! Thought we had. God darn. Thought we had more than one land. Okay. Not good. Well, we might have just fully given away the last 2 games with these decisions that we've made. Of course. Short story long. This deck still seems viable. We need that. Alright, I think well, I guess we'll call it 5 games for this video. Gruul aggro, still viable. Like, there's just no way out of this. And this is also a top lane. Huh. Well, that's it. That's the game. That's the match. I think I'll do another one with this deck. So overall, did pretty good. 3 out of 5. Normally, this is our worst video that we've put out, like in sort of a league fashion. But in my defense, it is pretty late at night. But I just felt like getting some games in. I was considering doing a draft, and then I was like, it's 12 o'clock at night, and like those 5 games just took us an hour and a half. It's now 1:30. But yeah, deck did pretty well. Held its own. A little bit of misplays on the last game. Control just kicked our butts. The aggro deck also pretty tough, but we made some poor decisions. Obviously in that 3rd game we took a bad hand by accident, and then just bad sequencing. But I'll probably do a follow-up when I'm in a better state. But I think this is a totally good, a sort of good showcase of this deck, and I hope this video helped. And if you like historic, definitely check out Death Shadow. I think this deck's really cool, really fun, and yeah, cheers. Have a good one.